Joffrey, Renly, Robb Stark are all thieves. They'll bend the knee or I'll destroy them.
This war had finally shown Enger what he'd always known. These so-called First Men were nothing but savages, but they were men nonetheless, and men could be killed. He had proven this fact time and time again during this wasteful war. The Lord of the Father's Field sat in his tent overlooking a map of the Riverlands. The heathen and all his followers would pay in due time. That bastard was also a kinslayer now, as he reminded himself. These First Men had no sense of honour, and they all fought like beasts. The only reason why the previous king even tolerated these mongrels and kept most of them independent was his wife and her sister, and what good had that alliance even brought them? Had the Stark bitch been able to produce a male heir, none of this would have occurred. Now Enger had a dead queen and a realm torn asunder. His campaign had started in the north, crushing Titus's allies. Now they had managed to push the savages down to the neck and into the Trident. Their victory was inevitable, Enger thought, but he would have to go through the seven hells and back to claim it. If there was one thing he could respect these mongrels for, it was their sheer stubbornness in the face of adversity. This siege at the Cape of Eagles only proved it. It had been going on for over a week and these rebels were as fierce as ever. What they didn't anticipate, however, was how stubborn Enger himself was. He was determined to take this keep, and once the siege was over he would bring the full might of his wrath onto the false king's host. The end of the Kinslayer was at hand. His death would be brutal and it would be bloody, a fitting reward for a man like Titus Arrenstar. Enger's musings were finally interrupted as a man entered the tent. "My lord, the men are ready for the assault." Enger turned and nodded at the soldier before him. With a sadistic grin he replied, "Good, let us bring the Queen's justice to these traitors." He stepped out of his tent and looked over his assembled men. He nodded towards commanders standing in front of them as he unsheathed his Valyrian steel sword, Dragon Scourge. His family's sword would be the bane of trees this day as well, it seemed. "Men of Andalia," he bellowed, "the Queen was slain by her bastard half-brother, a man as cruel as the gods he worships, and tonight, by taking this castle, we shall work to avenge her. With every keep we take, we bring a dagger closer to Titan Arrenstar's heart. We shall bring justice to this land. May the warrior guide us." He raised his sword high and his men began to cheer and beat their shields, an odd habit many of these men had gained in the north. Enger's gaze now shifted towards the castle, the same evil grin still on his face. Through the flames they would taste his steel. Hello everyone and welcome back to Andalia, where the civil war is still raging on for the throne of Sevensport. We had that introduction from Lord Enger, the evil firehand of the Father's Field, who's now 47, getting on quite a bit, but he really showed off how good of a commander and a fighter he is in that last episode, which was pretty impressive. Right, so down in the neck, war is still raging on. We've got our 10,000 men in the Cape of Eagles, led by Benfrey, Moribold and Enger Firehand. And then we have 11,000 over here, led by Sir Warren. And that's it, just Sir Warren, apparently. We could do split it. No, it'll be okay. But yeah, we're about to attack what remains of the Arrenstar host. Hopefully ending the war pretty soon. Here we are as Queen Jonquil, 7-year-old queen who is attractive, affectionate and shy, so there's not much to tell about her at the moment. She's got decent diplomacy though for a 7-year-old, so we'll see where that goes. We do need to sort her out a marriage as well, but we'll wait until after the war is over. She's got Lady Josso as her guardian, which is a good guardian for her to have. It was one of Kyra's best friends and she's very good at diplomacy, so yeah, that's a good match for her guardianship wise, so hopefully that will make her into a decent politician. We've also got 5,000 men down in Wickerden, where we're doing the siege of Crabshaw and Wickerden to try and get Leopold and Harbert under our control. And it looks like Harbert's actually leading that army there, so we should probably actually march onto Saltpans to try and attack him and see if we can capture him. So yes, let's unpause and get straight on with the battles that are about to happen, see what we can do here. So hopefully we're going to crush this army here. Yep, what remains of the Arrenstar army. We've had the siege of Gultown, which has failed, where we're getting invaded by Ironborn, unfortunately. But it looks like they're leaving now. They've got what they wanted and they're buggering off. Wow, they looted Gultown for 237 gold. That's That's an impressive amount. That's not good. Your Grace, my mission to the area has so far been a success. During my visit to the court of Lord Benfrey Snow of the Giant's Lance, I seem to have managed to make him understand what a benevolent and peaceful ruler you really are. He sends his regards, your humble Master of Laws, Lord Stefan Roseheart. Thank you, Lord Stefan. Right, how much war score is this going to give us by destroying that Erenstar host? Hopefully a decent amount. The Battle of Seagard, we slaughtered most of the armour. It didn't give us that much war score, but now we can march on to the Crossfort, which we do need to take under our control. This 11,000 will march on and get rid of that small liberation revolt that's going on there, because that may cause us problems going forward. Let's see if this 5,000 man host is going to slaughter Harbert's host, hopefully capturing him. It would be good if we could capture him. My courtier, Owen Viprin, has expressed a desire to get married. She's 40. You can marry as you please. There's not much we're going to be able to do with that. Let's march on to Wickeden then and now get that under siege. We'll march on and destroy that host there. It's only a peasant host. Should be easily done. And then we'll march on to Mistlewood with this army. Actually, let's get Mistlewood under our control. Your Grace, as a high-ranking heir of House Rack, I do not see it wise to give up my family name to marry Owen Viprin. I didn't tell you to do that. No. Yeah, you can be divorced. I didn't tell you to marry her. Let's get you a marriage then before that happens. Have we got anyone in our court that we can arrange a marriage for Sergio Iraq with? No. So we're going to have to look a little bit more further afield for him. He's 16 now. Let's have a look at him, actually, now that he's come of age, because I'm looking forward to this character. He's got a lot of great potential. 18 Marshal, really impressive. Dutiful Commander, quick. Skilled Fighter, Knight. Humble, Wrath. Just, content, kind, honourable, diligent and trusting. Really awesome character. I'm looking forward to seeing how he turns out. We want someone within our own realm, if possible. There's bound to be somebody that we can find a marriage for. What about one of the Firehand girls? Are any of those still unmarried? No. Jenna Firehand, 19. She's married. There is Fiona Firehand, who's 24, though. She's quite decent diplomacy-wise. She wants to have a son. It's not that much of an age difference, is it? 8 years, but she's still young enough to have children. Could marry to her then. Is there not anyone better around though? Doesn't seem like there is. Is there any Blooms maybe? Any Blooms? No, she's 26, so she's quite old. What about him? 21. Kariah Bloom, 12. Oh, she's already betrothed to a Grafton. What about down in the Vale? What have we got? Lord Benfrey Snow. What about Della Highstar? Can we arrange a betrothal between Della Highstar and Joa Rack? No, not interested. We'll sort out a marriage for Joa Rack after the war. We'll wait for the war to end first. Right, so we're going to march on to Mistlewood, get that under siege. There is a small host there that we're going to be able to destroy. We ain't got to worry about that too much. The Umber host up north is sieging the Father's Ford, though, which is annoying. Queen Brenna, the Munificent, accepted High King Agger of the Iron Isles peace offer. So he's now usurped a lot of land in the north. Damn it. Yeah, so they've now took over all of the Rills. He's now under Ironborn control as well, which is worrying. It's worrying how much power the Ironborn are now getting. It is a little bit scary. We are going to have to sort those out. Once this war's over and we can let a bit of time for recovery, I think we do need to put the Ironborn in their place before they get a little bit too powerful. I think it'd take a lot for them to get powerful enough to actually hurt Andalia, but still. Lord Stefan Roseheart has been a leal and able servant, having successfully completed many tasks in aid of Andalia. It would be seen as the right and honourable course to reward him with certain incomes and loyalty. My regent would reward himself. Okay, yeah, we'll just do that. And he, Lord Stefan, Queen Junk will pay 65 to Lord Stefan. Okay, so he's basically rewarding himself. Lethine tried to catch the dragon in Morgul and failed. I'm not interested. Not interested in dragons. After we defeat that host, let's march back to the Northlands and get that under siege. Let's get Mistlewood under siege. Hopefully, it's not going to take a lot to get them under siege. Lord Harbert Snow of Wickeden tried to catch the dragon, force gun, and failed. Where will it strike? Again, is he still alive? He can get burned alive, did he? So there's a dragon in the Redstone lands for some reason. No idea where it's come from, but that is worrying. We need to get rid of that somehow if we can. Special titles to be given. A bodyguard. Joe Iraq, yes, he'd be a perfect bodyguard for now. I don't think there's anything else that needs filling for now, is there? No, not really. How well defended is Mistlewood? Pretty well defended. I wonder how well defended Northlands is. Still only at 55%. Let's get those men there quickly then. Sir Davos Redguard of the Cape of Eagles died a natural death at the age of 50. That's not that old though, is it? A trade port has been built by the Vakar family of Valerios in Vedis lands, wherever that is. Okay, so we're slightly over the supply limit here. What is the supply limit for? 14,000. Oh, it's just because of that random maiden armor, so we shouldn't worry about that too much. How well defended is Wickerden? Not that well defended. We should be okay. Gilliam at Ligahum accepted Titus Snow's peace offer. Okay, so we had some sort of war going on there in the Crone's Crossing, but we won't worry about that too much. We just need to concentrate on getting these lands under siege to win the war. Grave news, Master Boyquin, having been tending to the wounds of the men at your command, is reported to have cracked under the stress of the stream of grotesque injuries. The men are now unnerved because of this. How unfortunate. The morale of our armies drops by 10%. Luckily, that's probably not going to affect us too much. Let's go for the assault here. Let's get it underway. There we go. Yeah, that shouldn't affect us too much just because we've got a sheer amount of manpower on our side, so that shouldn't worry us too much. Looks like the Dustlands are still going to war, though, with the Stormlands to take over the Riverlands, which is interesting. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on that. And can we not assault in the Northlands? It doesn't look like we can assault in the Northlands. Not for another 5 days, anyway, so that's not too bad. I love the thrill of heights, running on the castle walls and looking down at the little people below. If I reach out, maybe I can reach the bird's nest. Almost there. She's not going to fall, is she? Ah, someone push me. I'm falling. No. Why? Who? The mother? Queen Jonquil of Andalia dies. Okay. Queen Jonquil has taken her last breath at the age of 8. She died under suspicious circumstances, lost to us far too soon. Jonquil died at the age of only 8. May the girl find more luck with the gods. Queen Lyanna, beautiful beyond words. Lyanna's appearance will have foreign dignitaries grovelling at her feet. Long live Queen Kyra Sevenstar. So be it. Okay, so everything's now passed. We've got another new queen, and everything passes on to Queen Lyanna. That means the regency is now, of course, over. We do actually have a queen, and apparently she can raise even more levies, so that's not too bad. Her ambition is to have a daughter. I think we'll cancel that. We want to have a son, of course. We need a son. We need to pick a focus. Well, it's definitely going to... Oh, she's pregnant. Oh, very nice. We're definitely going to go for carousing and a diplomatic leadership, a focus, sorry. We need to now pick our new council members. Let's have a look. Our Master of Whisperers. Can we get Enger Firehand back on the Master of Whisperers? Apparently not, so we'll go with this guy for now. And we don't have a Maester. We'll go with you. You can set up the court. Okay, so that's annoying. So now we have Queen Lyanna, 22 years old. As we can see, very, very diplomacy-wise. A naive appeaser, fashionable, attractive, a trained fighter, pregnant, tyrannical stain, a socializer, slothful kind, deceitful, and content. Right, so now we need to win the war for Lyanna. You have a new heir. If your character dies now, you'll play as Princess Alice of Andalia. Oh, okay, no, we don't want that, do we? Tommen of Tommen Bronzegate's host has declared Tommen Bronzegate's host invaded Dragonstone. Yeah, new Queen of the Vale, blah, blah, blah. My dear husband, Ambrose, is suspicious of my pregnancy. He is right here. He is here right now, asking me if the child is really his. Assure him of my faithfulness. Aga Greyjoy's had cunt. has had cunt added to their treasury. Okay. And what is cunt? Is it a ship? Yes, it's a ship called Cunt. Oh, what a name for a ship. I like it. I like it, Aga. Very nice. Right, yeah, let's carry on our war in the Riverlands. Oh, that's brilliant. What a name. Okay, so that's that under siege. We can assault again pretty soon. We want to get this war over with now before we lose any more queens. And we need to make sure that Queen Lyanna actually has her child. Please be a son. We've not had a 7-star son born in God knows how long. Alice and I are both pregnant, and I have heard more about her morning sickness, swollen feet, and absent husband than I really wanted to know. Still, it is very comforting having someone else going through the same things as I do. To have someone you can talk about embarrassing problems and know they are the same or even more embarrassing problems. Okay, Alice Coldwater. Who is Alice Coldwater? She's betrothed to... Oh, married to Sir Donico Shycross. Alice is a true friend. Okay, we've made a friend. That's not too bad. I don't care about what Targaryens and dragons are up. No, don't take me over there. I don't care in the slightest. Lord Joran of Black Sheep Hills used a favour on Lord Morribold of the Warrior's Way to get the Spy Master position, getting Lady Ashara of the Warrior's Way fired in the process. Okay. Right, so can we assault again now because it's very poorly defended? Your Grace, my mission to the area has so far been a success during my visit to the court of Lord Benfrey. Perfect, so his relationship's gone up. That's now our brother, not our uncle. I need to make sure I remember that. Your bannerman, Lady Riesta Snowfall, is currently under threat from external enemies. Should we fulfill our queenly duty and aid them? Who is she being attacked by? Defending against Lord Master Viren of Andal Coast in Andal Coast slave raid on the sisters. Yeah, we'll help you out. But we won't be doing anything to help at present, not until we've finished our own war. Lord Maynwind of Silverreed has declared Lord Maynard of Silverreed's war for Greywater Watch on Lady Sybil the Young. Your Master of Coin has come to you with a report of missing item from your treasury. She says that the reign of Enger Sevenstar has gone missing, presumably stolen or mislaid. Find it at any cost. Yes, we need to find that book. We need to find the book of Enger Sevenstar's reign. Let's assault. There we go, that's Mistlewood under control. Now let's march on to the Crossfort. Can we get Northlands completely under control as well, please? A son was born to Sir Donico Shycross and Alice Coldwater named Damien Shycross, and he's been born with a strong trait, which is awesome. So let's go straight for struggle. Okay, Siege of Riverine is done. Let's assault that last province. Perfect. Right, where do we move this army onto now? Right, there is an Errand Star army over there. Let's march it home, get rid of these northern armies that are coming down the neck, and we'll lift that siege there. Hopefully that will give us a decent amount of war score. The other 9,000 can stay and siege the Crossfort, getting that under control. Hopefully it's not too well defended. We are getting a little bit of lag, unfortunate. Let Lord Harwin of Dalton's Keep accepted Lord Paramount Duncan of the Grandlands Peace offer. Okay. Let's slow this down a bit. 2 people eloped and got married without anyone's consent. Except their marriage, I don't care, to be honest. Wow, there's 3,000 defenders here. That's a lot. We'll march the rest of the army up north, though. Let's get that done. Hopefully they'll get there pretty soon. I'm going to forward things along while that happens. High King Agar II of the Iron Isles has declared Ironborn invasion of the Neck on Lady Sybil the Young. Right, so we need to end this war quickly now, then, because we do not want them taking over that. Lord Enger of the Farthest Fields tells me that someone is preaching false religion in his lands. Expose and denounce him publicly, giving me reason to arrest him. We don't want that, and Enger Firehand certainly wouldn't want that, would he? Of all people. Right, what are we doing down here? Is Wickedon nearly fallen? Not yet. We're going to have to do a little bit more sieging there before we can take control of that. A Raven has arrived from the Citadel. We should rejoice as winter is coming to an end. Good. Finally. Finally, finally, finally. Let's see if we can actually call up any more manpower and where from. Let's call up our vassals. We've got 2,000 in Gultown. Nice. Let's march those onto the area and try and cut off this army. And apparently we've got more men that we can call up somewhere else, but somewhere that's under threat, so we won't call those up. What a bother. The number of good dresses that I am still able to wear is growing increasingly smaller as my pregnancy takes its course. Perhaps I should order new clothes to be tailored on my current measurements. I will have Ambrose buy me new clothes. I really need to order new clothes. No need to go through all this trouble for some dress. No, we'll order new clothes. Lose 18 and gain 100 prestige. That's not bad. We'll definitely do that. I don't care about dragons. Despite many weeks of searching both your palace and the lands around Sevensport, the reign of Enger Sevenstar could not be found. That's disappointing. At the age of 2, your subject Allard Clifton died of pneumonia. May you live in harmony and contentment. I have been appointed as your regent, Lord Daynes of the Fingers. Why is Daynes Corby our regent? So apparently we're going to be going into labour soon. Recently I've noticed the pitiful state of my half-sister Adara Snow. I've just been informed that the cause of her aches and fatigue are a case of the flu. Call our physician at once. Let's try and make her better. It is our sister after all. Okay, and the Bolton army's fighting a Greyjoy armour, which is interesting. Command is no longer affecting us. I didn't know that we were even in command. Your Grace, I've collected ample tax revenue in Sevensport. The money should reach you together with this letter. Excellent news. Nearly 100 gold. Sir Eustace, your Grace, for some time now I've been in the employ of Lord Gilwood, but now I seek a better station and I humbly request to join you in Sevensport. Decent intrigue. No, we've got enough courtiers. We don't need any more intrigue people around. That's the last thing we need at present with everything going on. Victory in the Battle of Elkstones. It's warming. Winter comes to an end in Sevensport. Good. Where are these 2,000 men about to go? Let's march them that way. Try and cut off that army. We've got 200 men here. Let's march them there. We've got 300 men here. Let's march those to the crossing. Just reinforcements. We're almost about to arrive in the farthest field. Actually, let's attack that Umber host. And the Umber host actually beat back that Greyjoy host. So that's good. That does us a favour. That weakens them and stops them taking the net, which we don't want. I don't care about dragons. Go away with the dragons. I wish when you say you don't care about dragons, it would literally just leave you alone. Lord Donnel the Warriors use out the title of Fawn Crag from... Oh, okay, Lord Peak. I don't care. You have a new heir. If your character dies now, you will play as Sylvia. Oh my god, we've had a daughter. We need a son! damn it. Well, she's got good diplomacy. Oh, God. We need a son. You have a new heir if your character dies now. Okay. The regency of Queen Lyanna of Andalia has ended. What should we name her? We'll name her... Let's name her after our late sister. Let's name her Kyra. Kyra Sevenstar. My God. Then again, 7 stars always have sons second, I suppose. So there's still a good chance. Let's send a gift to our husband. That raises his opinion of his by 7 so we can hopefully try and see if we can get ourselves pregnant again. At the age of 46, your acquaintance Shia Firehand died a natural death. Okay. And that was an easy victory there. That puts us up a lot in the war against Titus. This war is dragging on a lot longer than we need it to. Can we assault this yet? No, it's way too defended. That's fine. Okay, so where has Harbour got all these men from all of a sudden? Your Grace, it's come to my attention that nobody's appointed as your designated regent. Who is this? Sir Warren, an absurd proposition. We will pick our own regent. Let's have a look. Our new designated regent will be Benfrey, of course. Benfrey Snow. Lord Arthur of Castle Kerwin used to favour on Queen Rhaenyra the Magnificent. Yeah, don't care. Right, where are you marching off to? March on to Wicked and join your force with that so we can get that siege underway. Hopefully this war will be over soon. Okay, so we've lifted the siege of the Father's Ford, so now we can march our men back home. At first, I may have been uncertain about this pregnancy, but after all the pain and tribulation, looking at the sweet, innocent creature resting in my arms fills my heart with joy. The maids insist that I should leave her in the care now, go back to my duties as queen. Perhaps they are right. I will always be with you. We go -10 fertility. Time to get the net worse to Nurse Kyra. What do we gain, though? She has a good chance of getting better, and her opinion of us changes massively. No, so we'll stay with her. We'll stay with our daughter. There's a small Erenstar host there that we need to attack once we lift that siege. Just need to wait for this siege of Wickeden to end, and then we can bring this other host up northwards. Which we should be able to do soon. We should be able to assault that now that we've got 8,000 men there, to be honest. Let's assault. There we go. A victory in the siege of Wickeden. Now let's march onto that Redstone army, crush it, and then march north to aid. Our other army is coming back down from the neck as well, which is good. It's just this siege of the crossing. It's so well defended. Who are you? Edmure? No, I don't want you. You're another spy master type. Intrigue. I don't want any intrigue characters if I can help it, to be honest. Okay, we've finally caught up with that Redstone host. We should be able to completely crush it. We've got 3-4 times their number. Yes, an easy victory. That's fine. Perfect. At least we've done more damage to Titus's host. Your Grace sometime now. No, I don't want you. You look like you could be a dragon rider. Definitely don't want you. Now we need to march on to Erinford after the Battle of Fair Mill, which was a great victory. March on to Erinford. Let's destroy what small host there is there. We've got 18,000 now in the crossfort. Your Grace, we've received word that the Dragon Oryx owned by... I don't care. Right, can we assault this now with our 18,000 men? Surely we'll get a great victory there, taking the crossfort. Yes, victory. 80%, perfect. Soon this war will finally be over. I can't believe how long it has lasted, but it has been an interesting war. Very good for the story. I've really enjoyed it, to be honest. Got one character lacking a childhood education focus, Byra Erenstar, who is our prisoner, betrothed to Elena Umbar. What are you best in? You're good at learning. You won't be allowed to do a learning education. No, you've got no diplomacy. You're okay at intrigue. We'll go with the intrigue focus then. See if we can do anything with you. I don't know what we're going to do with all the children after the war anyway. We'll wait and see. Here we go. Let's crush this host in Erinford. Can we assault this again yet? Yes, we can. Let's end this war. 82%. Go for one more assault. Will that be all of the crossing under our control? Not yet. I think this is literally we're closing in now on the end game of the war. Who are you? A dragon rider. Go away. No. I'm fed up with all these dragon riders. Come on. Let's get this assaulted again. Come on. Let's finish this siege. Let's get this war over with. Finally. Hopefully it'll end soon. There we go, we can assault now. Your Grace, I will honour my allegiance and take up arms to defend the realm against Andalia's enemies. The army of Sevensguard shall join you as soon as possible. Okay, it's a bit late for that, isn't it, Bellis Redguard? Excellent, but what the... He's literally, like, done a Walder Frey the Late. But whatever. The late Lord Frey, the late Lord Redguard. There we go, we're crushing that Aaron-Star host. We're doing a siege here. It's up to 84%. Victory there, 87%. We're literally going to win any second now, aren't we? Let's march on to the Northlands, finish the sieges there. That's all we've got to do now, really, is just complete the sieges of all these castles in this land, and that'll get us a victory, hopefully. There we go, 100%. Lord Titus Snow. Offer peace and enforce demands. Send. The Lord Titus Snow's war for Andalia has ended. Queen Lyanna of Andalia has won. Okay. Perfect. Let's see what happens now then. Okay, we're going to have a lot of things popping up now that we're going to have to deal with. The war has been won. The rebels' armies have been crushed and our brave loyalists... crushed by our brave loyalists. Lord Harbert Snow, one of the traitors, has been brought before you to hear your judgment. Send him to the dungeon. The war has been won and the rebel armies have been crushed by your brave loyalists. Lord Belvazar Bolton, one of the traitors, has been brought before you to hear your judgment. Send him to the dungeon. The war has been won. The rebel armies have been crushed by our brave loyalists. Lady Sybil Reed, one of the traitors, has been brought before you to hear your judgment. Now, she was only a child. It was actually her regent who declared the war, so we will allow her to bend the knee. Lord Titus Aaron-Star, of course, he's going to be sent to the dungeon. What else would we do with him? Can we now disband our armies? I think we can. I think we'll go for a mid-POV, though, with Titus first, so let's do that. Titus Aaron-Star, briefly King Titus and former High Lord of Erenford, walked below the gates of Sevensport. He glanced at the head of Lady Snowfall adorning the city walls. This keep, this city, should have been his, but instead of a glorified entry with trumpets and cheers, he was in chains, walking behind the heroes of the war. But there were no cheers and no trumpets for them. Instead, there were angry shouts and insults directed at the traitors, and cheers for the victors. Queen Kyra Sevenstar may be dead, and her daughter assassinated a few weeks ago, but the citizens rejoiced at the victory as an age of peace would now surely begin. Titus felt the lash each time Lord Firehand brought it down across his back. The victorious lord looked down on Titus without mercy. "You'll be begging for the headsman by the time we reach the Queen, I promise you, traitors one and all," Lord Firehand cried out. Lord Rack from his mount held the chain that preceded the entire procession. Moribald looked back from his high position at Titus. "You nearly killed my son, the Queen's squire." He paused. "I have something for you." The words trailed off and Moribald kicked his horse in the flank hard, and as quick as lightning a rear hoof struck Titus in his chest, sending him flying backwards, landing in a heap. The other lords looked around in mortal fear. "Well?" Enger bellowed. "Aren't you going to help your king?" he mocked. Leopold turned to help Titus up, and instantly Lord Firehand's whip struck out and wrapped around his neck. He was pulled to the ground. The crowd laughed heartily. Titus put a hand up to stop the others from trying. He got to a knee. "I am ready to see my sister now, my worthy lords. I am most pleased that I can be of service." He then stood and walked forward. "I am reconciled to my fate. I have earned this, and I shall not rob you of your spoils, though you will hear no screams or begs for mercy from my lips." The procession went up the main streets of the town, each of the traitors and their family in chains behind a savage with insults and flying projectiles by the crowds that await them. Rocks, clubs, whips, all manner of refuse are heaped upon the traitors. A veritable rain of garbage nearly stops the whole event until Lord Firehand's men beat back the furious crowd. His brother, Harbert Redstone, burst into tears as the castle gates came into sight. Lady Reed cursing as she dragged what looked like a broken ankle behind her. Lord Drake has had most of his long white hair pulled from its scalp. They were all exhausted and trembling as the horn blasts announced the return of the heroes. All except Titus, who still stood proud and strong. They could take his lands and his life from him as well as everything else he held dear, but they could never take away his pride and strength. That was his alone. The Queen looked down upon them with a disapproving look. Titus could feel the warm sun on his face as he drifted in his mind back to childhood. How had it all come down to this? He remembered how as young innocent children they had all loved each other. They would all be in with their father without their mothers, and it was all so joyous. Now there was simply figuring out who was left. The cold stark reality caused Titus to bow his head. This is what he deserved. Titus and the others wounded by the stones threw at them finally arrived at the keep. Lord Josso fell on his knees, but the chains was pulled forward, forcing the Lord to crawl as the crowd laughed at him. The guards did nothing to help, for he was a traitor. Finally, after what seemed an eternity, the prisoners arrived at the keep itself. There Titus found an old acquaintance of Kyra Jonquil and their father before, Sir Lister Sevenstar. The old man looked at his kinsman, a cold rage in his eyes. Titus knew full well what was about to happen. After all, Lister saw with his own eyes Titus's blade piercing his sister's armour. He'd waited all this time for revenge. Lister walked up to Titus and said to him in a cold and also sad tone, "Why, Titus? Why did you follow your ambition? You loved your sister dearly and yet you slew her." Lister's shoulders were shaking in anger. He continued, seeing Titus not replying. "You sparred with your sister in this very same courtyard where you stand now. You were raised together, ate together, learned together, and yet you did not even show mercy to her." Titus kept his silence. Of course he cared about his sister. Did he regret his action? Yes, but on the field of battle, in the midst of action, he could not stop his sword arm. He could not control his own body. Finally, Lister stood back. The trials were about to begin. As he walked back, he simply said, "May your gods help you, Titus Erenstar, for you are a lost soul." The gates to the keep opened and Titus and the prisoners walked in. All the court was gathered. Time to end this, thought Titus as he crossed the room, people whispering on his way. He stopped at the foot of the throne that should have been his, and at the woman carrying the crown that should have been his. He then kneeled and waited for his death sentence to be pronounced. Okay, so that was Titus's mid-POV. Can we now disband? Oh no, we don't want to disband these armies because we've got wars to end. Can we offer to join? You're being invaded by two different people, aren't you? You're not part of our realm at present. We'll leave our men for now then. Let's see what happens first. Let's let things... Okay, we've got the Reed Regent imprisoned. My prisoner, High Chief Ragnar Maiden, is complaining about his dark cell. Let him rot for now. My prisoner, Lord Corman Joshua, is complaining. Let him rot. Leopold Snow, let him rot. We'll sort out all of the prisoners in due time. Let's have a look. So we've got 8 prisoners. Lots of prisoners. We need to decide what we want to do with all these prisoners. There's a lot that we need to sort out. I'm just waiting for the war to end properly so that we can bring our troops home. My prisoner, Lord Titus Snow, is complaining about the dark cell in the dungeons that he and his family... no, you Erenstar's going to stay where you are for now. We'll deal with all the prisoners in a moment. The wars between the great powers of Andalia have subsided for now until the next time. Right, now that that's happened, can we help out in these other wars that we need to end? Can we command you to end your war? Well, we've got you in our prison cell anyway. Right, so it is time to have a look through our prisoners. So we have Belvazar III, the Brilliant of the Stranger's Hills. His heir is Jessamine Bolton. First, what can we do? We can't. Why can we not revoke your title? You're in our prison. I want to revoke your High Lordship. Why can I not revoke your High Lordship? The Boltons do not deserve that High Lordship anymore. Not with the amount of times that they've gone against us. What about the other people? Can I revoke your High Lordship? No. Is it because I've got troops raised or because I'm at war, maybe? Why is the reason? Let's have a look. The war has ended. You wish to reappoint the old council? Yes. That Andal slave raid is over now. Can we still not join in this war here that's going on in the neck? Doesn't look like we can. Maybe if we disband our armies. Let's disband all our troops. Is this all of our troops? We've got to wait for those to arrive in the Northland so that we can disband those, which shouldn't take too long. Your Grace, I humbly ask that you intervene on my behalf against the aggression of Lord Manfred Fenn. I will order him to stand down. Your Grace, I will of course obey. Perfect, so that's that war ended. At the age of 65, your subject Vermithor Shycross died of cancer. Wow, 65. He lived... I didn't realise Vermithor was so old, but okay, fair play. He'll be missed. I don't care about Dragon Riders. I do not want any Dragon Riders in my land. Right. My prisoner Doran Reed is complaining about his dark cell. Let him rot. We're going to sort out the prisoners soon. Are you still being invaded by the Greyjoys? Yes, you are. And for whatever reason, we can't help you in that at present. Hopefully, we will be able to. Are you losing that war? War 0% and 50% in favour of Ragnar. Can we command him to end his war? No, we can't. Right, but Let's sort out the prisoners then. Let's have a look. What we've got. Belvazar Bolton. Yes, now we can revoke his title. High Lordship of the Stranger's Hills. It will upset our other vassals, but we're going to have to deal with it. There we go. That's that taken away from him. And how much would we actually get for ransoming him? 70 gold. We've got plenty of gold, thankfully, so we're not going to do that. Instead, sorry, Lord Belvazar, the Brilliant, as you call yourself. You are very impressive, to be fair. But we are going to have... Should we call him for trial? Who is our Hand of the King? Benfrey. No one's beating Benfrey, are they? So we'll give you a trial then, Lord Belvazar. We'll call Lord Belvazar for trial. Who is Byra? Byra Erenstar. He's a child. We'll leave him in house arrest for now. He's our ward. Cormund Josso. We can't do anything with you at present. Who else do we have? Doran Reed. We can do stuff with you. We can't give you a trial. You started the war in the neck, so we will execute you. Do it. I think we can only go for beheadings, so he will be beheaded. There we go. So that's the Reed Pet Lord taken care of. Cormund Josso, who went against us. Can we not banish you? We can ransom you. Can't revoke your title because you're not technically underneath us. But then again, first, Titus Snow. First of all, I'm going to revoke your title, the High Lordship of the Crone's Crossing. Send. There we go. We've got that under our control now. So we should be able to take some other stuff. I'm going to take Cormund of the Crossfort. I'm going to revoke his title, the Lordship of the Crossfort. Send. Leopold Snow. I know definitely what we're doing with you. You are definitely going to be executed. Do it. He will be beheaded. At the age of 47, your bannerman Lord Leopold of Crabshaw was beheaded on the orders of Queen Lyanna of Andalia. Who else do we have? Ragnar of the Mothered Embrace. We can't revoke your title because you're currently at war, which is annoying because I wanted to revoke your title and send you to the wall. So we'll leave you at present. Who do we have here? Cormund Josso of Hagsmire. Now that we've taken your land, we will exile you. We'll send you to the Night's Watch. Okay, but for some reason he's gone into Lord Vance's lands. No idea why. I wanted to send you to the Night's Watch. Whatever. Harbert Snow. We will. We can't... I want to send you to the Night's Watch as well. Exiling you isn't going to do that. So we'll leave you in our custody for now. Who else do we have? Belvazar Bolton. You've got your trial coming up. Ragnar. Can't do anything with you at present. Titus. We will, of course... execute you, Titus. There's no other thing that we can do for you. Lord Titus will be beheaded. My actions have killed a close relative of mine. I have gained the Kinslayer trait. That's fine, considering who we've taken it from. We do have that High Lordship to give away in the future as well as the High Lordship of the Dreadfort lands as well, which we now own. Titus is dead. What other prisoners do we have? Ragnar, Byra, Belvazar, and Harbert. What do we do with Harbert? Can we revoke his title? Yes, we can. High Lordship of Wickeden. We'll take that away from you. We'll allow your son to keep his lands, but he will no longer be the High Lord. And considering that we can't send you to the Night's Watch for whatever, unless we unpause and let that trial go out, then maybe then we can. Lord Belvazar Bolton has demanded trial by combat and is summoning his champion to Sevensport. Oh, you want to play it like that, do you, Lord Belvazar? Okay, interested. He will remain in the dungeon until that time. Under my guidance, my young nephew Byra, slowly mastering the art of swordsmanship. You have decreed that Cormund Josso should be stripped of all all rank and title, and be banished from the realm upon pain of death. Perhaps the Night's Watch would be a better alternative. Yes, he will be of use on the wall. Perfect, that's better. So Lord Josso has been sent to the wall. So if we do that with Harbert, then I just wanted to check before we actually do it. If we exile Harbert now, it should come up that we get to send him to the Night's Watch as well. Here we go. You have decreed that Harbert Redstone should be stripped of all rank and titles. We don't want to kill another brother. And be banished from the realm upon pain of death. Perhaps the Night's Watch would be a better alternative. Aiding the Night's Watch would be seen as the honourable action. Yes, he will be of use on the wall. So now it's just these other prisoners. Ragnar, can we exile you? Unfortunately, we can't. So we'll just leave you in our prison cell at present until that war does end. And now we've got that trial by combat, which could be very interesting. Who is he going to call forward for that trial by combat? And who are we going to get to use in that trial by combat? That's what I'm quite excited about. The guards drag Belvasar Bolton up from his cell and throw him at your feet. I've come for justice, he says. By right of birth and blood, I demand trial by combat. Harmon Umber will be my champion. Okay, he's actually really, really good. Flamboyant schemer, quick, brawny, skilled fighter, duelist. Okay, he's really, really good. You have that right. I will select someone to stand for the Queen. Okay, so who has volunteered to come forward to face Harmon Umber? Sir Lister Sevenstar is... Right, so he's got 95 personal combat skill. Sir Lister, 35, very old, in hiding. Sir Stefan Roseheart with 170 personal combat skill, even with the old age penalty. Lord Colmore Bloom with 130, and Benfrey Snow as well. Okay, Lord Stefan Roseheart will fight bravely. Come on, Stefan, do not let me down. Lord Stefan steps forward. I'll stand for you, your grace. Fight well, Lord Stefan. You watch with glee as Lord Stefan drives his sword relentlessly at Harmon Umber, finally striking a mortal blow and killing him. The gods have cast their judgment and Belvasar Bolton is guilty. The gods were not in their favour. Okay, now what do we do with Lord Belvasar now? We can't do anything with you, apparently. Oh no, we'll get the option come up, won't we? Yes, Lord Belvasar Bolton has been found to be guilty by the gods. What punishment shall he receive? Execute him, the gods command it. I shall be merciful and send him to the wall. Let him rot in his cell. He can stay here as my guest. Do you know what? I want to execute him. But I think just to be even more spiteful to House Bolton for everything they've done. We've took their high lordship away from them. Why don't you go and spend some time with Daddy on the wall? I shall be merciful. Send him to the wall. Belvasar Bolton had Skull of Sambaron removed from their treasury, and now he's a brother of the Night's Watch, which is where I also want to send Ragnar when I get the option to do so, which is it's not letting me do. Stormsinger, Shreya of blah 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 blah. Don't care. Right, so that's the war over. We've just got this little war between the Reeds and the Maidens to sort out. And that will be the realm at peace, and hopefully we can get rid of the Ironborn invaders then, because the Ironborn, if they take the neck, that's going to give them a lot of power, and it's going to split Andalia in half as well, which is very worrying. I don't want that to happen. We really don't want that to happen, actually, do we? I'm looking forward to the NPOV. That should definitely be quite interesting. Right, I don't want to organise our coronation until we get this war over with, so we'll save that for the next episode. I think what we'll probably do is end this episode here. Then, guys, a lot happened. I can't believe how much happened after that war. Thank you all so much for watching as always. I hope that you did enjoy. Please don't forget to like and comment down below if you did. And hopefully I'll see you all very soon for the next episode of the Knights of Andalia. The streets of Sevensport were plagued with an abundance of people. Thousands of them had graced the streets, maybe even hundreds of thousands. They stretched across the great city as far as the eye could see. They had all gathered in and around the great northern city's central plaza. They had not only filled the streets but everywhere else in between, from inns to pot shops and even brothels. Every window and rooftop was brimming with small folk, all desperate for even the slightest chance, a glimpse of the tiniest view of what was to come. Benfrey Highstar, Lord of the Eyrie and Hand of the Queen, stood behind the makeshift altar that had been hastily propped together for the event atop the great marble steps at the north side of the plaza. Slightly to the right of the great towering statue of King Enger I, founder of House Sevenstar and the Kingdom of Andalia. Directly at the feet of King Enger, central to the top of the stairs, sat a headman's block, ready and waiting. Benfrey glanced down to the foot of the steps where the traitors stood chained and waiting. Lady Sybil Reed and her regent and uncle Doran, Lord Ragnar Maiden, Lord Corman Josso of the Crossing, Leopold Snow, who had been his father's best friend, the young Lord Belvasar Bolton, and then finally on the end, his two brothers. Harbert Redstone was now only a shadow of the man he had once been. He was feeble and defeated. He knew he had sealed his fate the day he took up arms against Queen Kyra. Now bound by chains, all he could do was await his punishment. To his right stood Titus Erenstar, the false king and would-be usurper. He stood defiant and proud. He seemed unfazed by what was to come. No matter what, even now, bloody and beaten, strapped in chains, he stood strong and valiant. A rock flew from the outraged crowd of small folk to strike Titus on the temple. A fresh stream of blood began to trickle slowly down his face, yet the Lord of Erenford didn't even flinch. He just continued to stare up longingly at the great statue of his hero. Silence bestowed the crowd as Lord Benfrey made his way towards the podium. He unravelled a large piece of parchment and placed it firmly on the stand. He took a deep breath and a moment to gather himself, and then he began. Today judgment will be passed. Those of you stood here before me today are guilty of high treason and war crimes against Andalia and House Sevenstar. Your punishment will be just and will be as followed. Lady Sybil Reed, as you are currently governed by your regent and uncle, and were but a child of 9 when this rebellion started, we, the council, see it that you will be pardoned of all charges. All we ask in return is that you bend the knee and swear fealty to Queen Lyanna Sevenstar, first of her name, and send your siblings to the capital for fostering. The young lady of Greywater Watch fell to her knees, sobbing hysterically. Thank you, my lord. My queen is most merciful, Benfrey continued. Lord Ragnar Maiden, Lord Corman Josso, and... He paused, a lump in his throat choking him, preventing him to say that last name. Lord Harbert Redstone. Her Grace and Council have decided to be most merciful where you are concerned. Each of your houses shall be stripped of certain lands, titles and incomes, before the 3 of you ride north to the wall to become men of the Night's Watch, giving you all the chance to redeem yourself for the good of the continent. The 3 men stood silent, their heads bent low. Whether they'd have preferred death to spending the rest of their days at the frozen end of the world, he could not say. Lord Leopold Drake and Lord Doran Reed, you both stand guilty of high treason, conspiring against the throne of Andalia, and along with Lady Snowfall, planting the seeds of this catastrophic rebellion, which has cost thousands their lives. Your punishment, execution. May the gods take pity upon your souls. Lord Reed stepped forward, the first to die. He climbed the steps solemnly and met his fate without so much as a word. The same could not be said for Leopold. The Lord of Crabshaw was dragged up the steps by Lord Enger Firehand by what remained of his long silver hair. He kicked, screamed and begged for mercy as the Lord of Barreton pinned him to the block with a heavy boot. The Queen's Justice removed his head with one neat and swift swing of his great axe. After, Lord Enger held up his head high to the delighted cheers of the small folk. Now only Lord Belvazar Bolton and his brother remained. Benfrey took a moment to catch his breath as he looked down at the man who had once been his best friend, the closest of all his 19 brothers and sisters. The Lord of Erenford looked back at him defiantly, head held high, as his eyes met Benfrey's, eyes full of strength and ambition. Lord Titus Erenstar, he began, a slight quiver in his voice. You are hereby charged with high treason, conspiring against the crown, raising your banners in rebellion against your rightful queen, who you slayed without a shred of mercy. But worst of all in the sights of men and gods both old and new, you are guilty of being a thrice over kinslayer. As punishment, you are hereby sentenced to death. The crowd exploded with sounds of celebration and applause as the fake king calmly climbed the steps. All manner of objects flew past his head as he ascended, some making their mark. Titus reached the summit, took one last look at the great statue of King Enger and then Benfrey. He nodded, a sad smile upon his face, and knelt. May the gods have mercy upon your soul, Benfrey whispered as the axe came swinging down.